What is up, guys? JP McDaniel here, joined by none other than Apollo. Apollo, how's it going, man?
I'm doing really good. I got some great sleep last night compared to the first night. I feel fantastic, and I'm very excited to be back up on the central stage alongside you. And we're going to have some great games upcoming. First of all, though, Grubby versus Goody.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun times here. Grubby, of course, taking out, both these players taking out big Korean names. Grubby with Oz 2-0 yesterday, and earlier today, of course, the news right now of the tournament is Goody 2-0ing MMA. And a lot of people out there are referencing MMA's Twitter where it was just question marks. I don't know. We saw Goody kind of explain somewhat what happened in the games, but I really want to know what really went on in those games. We'll have to check out those replays
I didn't actually watch them because we were both on gameplay number one. So from what I heard and from what I was told is that macro game, mech game number one for Goody, bio tank game number two. But whatever the case, it doesn't matter. He 2-0 to MMA. It's a fantastic victory for Germany, for Goody himself. But now he's going up against a fantastic player like Grubby. But remember this, guys, this is actually a rematch from the European qualifier. Despite both of these actually qualifying, Goody beat Grubby 2-0 quite convincingly.
Yeah. So let's see really how Grubby's going to be able to deal with this. We saw Grubby actually, while we were prepping here in the studio, he was there doing Tai Chi on the screen, kind of doing some breathing techniques. Of course, being the seasoned pro gamer he is from Warcraft 3, I'm sure he has some ways to calm himself down before a big match like this. The winner, of course, the loser, of course, is out of the tournament. So this is a very, very important match right now for both these players.
Yeah, this is losers round two. Of course, both of these guys, well, let's look at Grubby first. Grubby went 2-0 versus Oz in the winner bracket. Game number one, basically sent Oz down to his death eventually. And then he lost versus Violet. And from what I was told as well, is that Grubby felt that he could have won that series despite losing 0-2. So, he's in a bit of a weird situation right now going up against Goody, who, did beat him in the qualifiers in loser bracket 2. Goody, though, did fall down immediately versus Gonzi, lost 0-2, but then, got just revenge on himself, you could say. Like, he lost one Terran versus Terran, but then won the other, and then redeemed himself leading into the next game. But there we do have Grubby. Of course, there is the sexy man himself. Looks like he needs to kind of comb his hair a little bit. But there's his stats, more importantly. Has got a higher win rate against Terran players. He's always had a very good Protoss versus Terran, and I think that his Warcraft 3 skills do translate over. I think he's the best ability user in Europe for Protoss players, like Force Fields, Gun Shields, Storms. Like, he doesn't miss with these abilities.
Yesterday, me and Rob Simpson were casting the match Grubby versus Violet. And in that match, over at one of the Zelnaga towers, he used one Zel to take out 5 Lings. And both players were actually controlling quite well in that fight. So that just kind of shows that in the micro battles, that Grubby can go against the best of them. So we need a couple minutes here, guys. One of the players' PCs does need to be restarted. But Goody, let's talk about him for a second here. What is his TVP like?
Well, it's a funny story with Goody's TVP. I mean, it is this like middle matchup, as you can see, 57% there, and of course finished 5th to actually qualify to being here. But his Protoss, his Terran versus Protoss, as in 2011, he actually, and 2010 too, he was very stubborn in using his mech. He is the Panzer General.
Yeah, that's true.
He will use tanks. He will use Thors until he was like, all right, well, this mech just doesn't work against Protoss. It just doesn't work. And he actually changed his style around. He's very timing-centric. He'll work around timings. For weird reasons, he likes to use bunker rushes, like in every matchup, actually.
Really?
So it's even come up against Protoss players. And, of course, there are both the players on screen now. Goody, though, did go through 2 Terran players to actually be here. And then he, the great win against Grubby. Will he be able to repeat that? That's the key here.
Yeah, mentally, you always got to consider that factor. Goody, coming off of a win 2-0 against MMA, probably on top of the world right now. Grubby was sent to the losers bracket pretty early on yesterday, but we'll see. I mean,
it's still a best of 3. It can still go either way.
This should be map. Is this Grubby's first game of the day? So
of course,
Goody's also warmed up.
Yeah,
That's
of
another
course,
factor.
he's got a good confidence boost against MMA. Grubby's first game of the day, having played 2 yesterday, now his third one now. And I want to go ahead and ask kind of Wolf. Wolf's on standby, he's on our analyst desk. Do you think that Grubby can beat Goody, or is Goody just going to, repeat what he did in the qualifiers?
If I know anything about Grubby, I think he's the favorite here. But I think something to mention before I even get into this is that both of these players have actually defeated Koreans here. They've made it further than I think anyone expected them to. You very rarely see two Europeans getting far enough to face each other in this type of situation. So both these players are obviously very, very capable. They've improved a lot. Recently, we saw Goody take out MMA. I watched some of those games actually on the other Dr. Pepper Ultimate Access stream. I was checking that out, and I was like, I mean, Goody seems great in a base trade scenario, but so is Grubby, and that seems to be something that may come up in this match. I'm not sure. I really think I have to give the better hand to Grubby here, though.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've seen Goody play like Terran versus Protoss, and even though I think Grubby should be the favorite, I think it's going to be very difficult, and I feel that Goody could actually do it. Though I could be completely wrong, Wolf, and maybe
he definitely
you
can.
can.
He
I'll buy
looked
you a beer
really
instead.
good against MMA. So I will see. I mean, let's just go ahead and get into that game.
Yeah, it looks like both of these guys are ready. The first map is very interesting. Of course, it is going to be Metropolis. Very much so like the background of both of these players there. New York City. It is real. There's a boat. You can see a bird somewhere. There's cars above Grubby. It is real, and it is absolutely beautiful, too, when you're actually there. You can turn around. You can look outside.
You know, the losers right here in this tournament, we actually just push them out of the window.
Really? Is that where Idra's gone? I didn't see him for a while.
Over here at the 3 o'clock position, it is going to be none other than the red Terran Goody. And over at the 9 o'clock position, it will be our one of the most beloved players, really. I gotta say in StarCraft 2 right now, as the blue Protoss, it's going to be Grubby.
And the thing is with Goody, he's actually statistically our slowest player at the tournament here. He has like. It's really weird because that's the funny thing. When MMA and Ryung were talking about Goody before, they were watching him play, and he's so incredibly slow. Look at that. The effective APM is up there. It's so slow. It's 70. Of course, Grubby's not really the fastest player either. He's very calculated with his. Actually, Goody getting a little bit fast there.
He heard you talking.
He heard me talking about him.
Apollo,
and he's like, don't you say rude things about me on stream.
Exactly. He does not want to be. We talked bad about here on the stream. He's actually getting pretty high. Maybe that's one of the things that he's working on. But I got to say, yesterday in the matches, I was talking about at the end of the day when we were wrapping things up over on Gameplay 1 with Wheat. I said, I want to see Goody against MMA. I really want to see how MMA is going to deal with that style because none of the Koreans, I think, have seen something like that come from Goody or come from any player out there.
Yeah. I mean, I really just want to watch the games. I can't really comment on it properly without watching them, of course. But that's a great victory for Goody. Can he do it again? Can he roll 2 amazing results in a row? Grubby going for 13 Gateway, 3 Chrono Boost, which of course is an economic focus in here. But Goody, on the other hand, is actually gasless, as we just was shown, and he will be making his way over to Scout. But a gasless start from Goody. Pretty usual, especially on Metropolis here. With the destructible debris on the natural air, it's actually very easy to defend. You can just have a bunker there, and it narrows the choke point down. And Goody smelling, trying to find where Grubby is actually. Grubby Goody. It's going to be interesting for the rest of this series, but Grubby very slowly crawling into gas there. He was actually waypointed in there, leaving 16 minerals on, or 16 probes, should I say, on minerals, just slowly waypointing in there. And also taking a second gas at the same time, but it's very much so a mineral-focused Nexus.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the average game time stat here from the online qualifiers and see really what we can expect from these two players in terms of the game length. We'll get that in just a minute. Make sure you check the bottom of the screen for that. Command center going down for Goody over here at his natural. No gas just yet. We'll see in a couple seconds if he's going to add on double gas or add on those 2 racks.
Yeah, I mean, Goody probably will just add on the double barracks. I mean, he's not going to try to play mech or anything like that. He won't rush up to tanks or anything, I don't think. But Grubby, on the other hand, is just going to go ahead and expand here. And he's actually got a Zealot on the 3rd base, who's just kind of looking for that scouting SCV. Doesn't want to give away free information. But there is the Nexus been planted down by Grubby, of course. And the additional barracks are starting to be added on now. We have 1, but he hasn't added a third, actually. So, I mean, he could take gases from here and just get a bit of a faster factory down, but there is the third barracks actually just going to come down, so.
Yeah. And what game was they were casting yesterday where the Terran put down 4 and went for that big push? Was that?
That was Ganji against MC, if I remember correctly.
What is your opinion here? We actually see 4 for Goody.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this?
I mean, it's okay. I personally don't like to do it. I prefer to have my engineering bay faster. I prefer +1 faster, and of course the medivacs out as well. But with this style, and by the way, you guys can actually see on screen now, there's the average game time. Grubby a little bit shorter. Goody, the Panzer General, taking his time in each one of his games there at 26 minutes. But with this style, going back to this 4 barracks, is that there's no scouting information for Grubby. Despite the change on the observer build time, he still can't really get any information, so he can't react to what Goody could potentially do here. This could be 2 barracks straight early medivacs. This could be 4 barracks. And Goody's going to be able to put a bit of pressure on without Grubby being able to react and adapt accordingly to what's actually coming.
And we can see, of course, Grubby getting that robotics facility down, wants to get that observer out and start scouting his opponent because he is being denied entry, only seeing the fact that the natural is up with that bunker. The rest of the Marines are up on top, so he can't even get a quick look at the Marine count, but he will be able to as the robotics facility is done. Observer should be started right away and chrono boosted out as we see there.
And now Grubby actually sees the Marines moving out there. They've come from the natural. Grubby sees it coming, and this
2
basically
SCVs.
is going to... a couple of SCVs too, so he may try to throw down bunkers to fortify outside the natural area here. As we talked about, weirdly, he likes to bunker rush a lot within this matchup and other ones too. But Grubby can't really tech now. He can't go into the gases on the natural, which he wants to. 2 extra barracks being thrown down by Goody. He also has gas, so he will be looking to get those stim, of course, stim and combat shields upgrades. But right now, Grubby has 5 sentries with a lot of force fields available. I really don't think this will work because he's not teching. He's invested in sentries instead, which is a great decision.
And one of the SCVs seeing a huge amount of sentries there. And Goody's actually going and checking the 3rd. And Grubby's checking around, seeing where that army is, but this is not going to be good. He's getting caught off guard here. These Marines are surely going to die. The best that Goody can try to do is to take out some of those sentries, but he will not do any of that. A little bit of a miscalculation from the Panzer General himself.
Well, what he was actually looking to do there, he'd already hoped like this structure had already been put down, the robotics bay. He already hoped the double forge had come down, or Twilight Council forge had come down, anything along those lines, because then Grubby wouldn't have been able to afford those extra sentries, and could have potentially taken a lot more damage than, of course, what just happened, which was nothing. Actually took no damage whatsoever. So Grubby is in a great position now. Of course, his tech was delayed, but that's just a reaction to what Goody's done here. Seeing it pretty damn early from that early stalker now, with the robotics bay down and the heavy barracks count, may I add in.
6. 2 tech
There's
labs
no
on there.
factory.
Right.
There's no starport, JP.
This is.
There's no Vikings, JP.
Is this actually good?
JP, he doesn't have anything to deal with Colossus.
I know, that's gonna be.
If only people could see what I was doing to you right now, they would laugh. But JP, he doesn't have anything to deal with Colossus. Goody is in trouble.
It's like DJ. Well, it's like someone basically telling their son that their dog just died, putting their hand caressingly on their shoulder.
JP, there's a 3rd command center coming down, JP. He's not getting a factory, and Goody is in a world of trouble. Grubby.
Well, hold on, but look at the upgrades. We got combat shield and stim about to finish. With only 1 Colossus out and the amount of army that Goody's gonna have, if he attacks fast enough.
But there's still so many sentries. The one thing that could work well for Goody is that if Grubby is like this in the center of the map, and then Goody is able to get a good surface area, come around flank, and Grubby really, ideally, with the scouting information he has with double observers, doesn't want to be taking any risks. Being in the center of the map could be a bit of a risk. He does have 3 gateways coming down, but as soon as Thermalats is done, the risk value is gone. Like, he doesn't have any risks.
Right.
Because with Thermalats and 2 Colossus, and the amount of sentries and force fields he has, this army is going to get sliced and diced like a New York pizza place.
Grubby is seeing Goody move out here. The Colossus are still back at home, not joining up the army. It is on the way, though, and it should be getting there pretty quickly.
And there's so many it's so many Marines. Look at the Marauder count. They can't even do any damage anyway to the Colossus because Marines have water pistols compared to Marauders here. And Grubby's following every single movement, guys. He knows exactly where Goody's going to be. He knows exactly how to cut this army up, and this is going to be extraordinarily dirty for Goody.
Yeah, watch how quickly these Marines are going to get shredded by just 2 Colossus. That army, I don't even think Grubby lost a single unit
Look
right
at
there
that. There's
in that
2,000
engagement.
difference in 2,000 and a couple of hundred more in terms of resources lost in this game. Grubby just, is absolutely smashing Goody, no doubt.
Goody stimming these units back home, trying to find some way to have an army ready for this attack. Meanwhile, in the production facility, 2 starports started, but they are not going to be fast enough as Grubby is right outside of the base.
He's building 2 starports because he's like, holy crap, I don't have Vikings, JP. And Goody is in a world of trouble.
Yeah,
Look at that.
good
GG.
game. Grubby takes game 1 there off of Goody. And was Goody trying to hit the timing? Should he have been a little bit earlier? Did he miss his kind of mark there?
Goody's timing, I don't think he really, well, he was playing blind. You have to keep in consideration what Goody could see, what Goody was playing to, and he didn't know or see anything. So and you don't really see too many players go for early Colossus, especially on the European server. And Grubby is a player that does like the faster High Templar, who does like to go double forges early on.
Right.
So that was kind of what the play style's strong against. And what it's weakest against, of course, is that Colossus play.
Well, we're going to find out soon what the second map is. Rob, over there on the analysis desk, what did you think of game 1 there between Goody and Grubby?
Man, I was actually just surprised to not see a single factory or starport out of Grubby. I think that was what I was most surprised by. And then we also saw, like, I mean, as you so very well pinpointed, there was absolutely nothing that Grubby, or excuse me, that Goody had to deal with what Grubby was doing, right? He had nothing to fight those Colossus.
Look at Grubby right there, guys.
Meditating.
That is a man.
Someone needs to give this guy a nos. Oh, God, there he is. He's awake. He's awake.
Oh, no, man. Those are the
Holy
evil
crap.
eyes, man.
That's
Oh,
the
wow.
scariest thing I've... Oh, my God.
He knows we're talking about him. Look at that. He's like, someone in the world is talking about me right now.
That was
And they are
scary.
scared.
I got nerd chills there.
Wow.
That was pretty
man.
scary.
Determination. You don't want to be his opponent.
Goody, you better look out, man. He's going to give you that death stare pretty soon.
And look at Goody. Goody's like, holy crap, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, he's looking away. He doesn't want to look right over in that direction. And there is the death stare, guys. Man, Grubby is so focused right now.
Yeah, I mean, he just played a perfect game. The key thing there to point out, too, is that he basically played a reactionary style of Protoss, which Protoss players have been trying to evolve into as much as possible recently. He had a couple of observers, not just one, he had 2. He followed the tech, he followed the upgrades, he followed the army movement, and Goody did nothing to prevent that. So Grubby was basically map hacking in this game. He knew everything. He knew how to move his army.
Yeah.
He just played a perfect game there, and I think he's in a great position. Remember, guys, this is the loser bracket. Like, whoever loses this is out. They're going home.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Guys, there is the Sony Xperia smartphone poll. And go ahead and vote for who you think will take this game, Goody or Grubby. Grubby, of course, up 1-0. You can also tweet at us to take place in that poll. And I don't know really what Goody can do here in the second game. He just felt it was almost as he was outclassed there in that first game.
It definitely was. He's got to change up that style. He's got to actually scout a little bit more to know what Grubby's going to do, especially if Grubby's going to play a reactionary style. You need to kind of evolve yourself and adapt yourself. But the next map is going to be Cloud Kingdom, guys. Looks like everyone's ready, and we are loading into this. Who's going to win and who's going home?